Frankly, the media circus doesn't register. Articles, hot takes, podcasts, all just background noise. Meaningless chatter that barely scratches the surface. Doesn't faze me. So LeBron fired back at the whispers, suggesting he and Bronny are about to be shown the door, all thanks to his, shall we say, forceful personality. New owners are calling the shots now in LA, and they're apparently not impressed by seasoned vet teeing off as his primary pastime. Plenty of us enjoy a good round of golf. But if that's the vibe, LeBron might be facing a sudden surplus of leisure time, because the Lakers' new coach seems to have subtly put both father and son on notice. So, let's dissect this LeBron/Bronny Redick mess, shall we? It appears the narrative is far uglier than the pundits are letting on. The heart of it, Bronny's situation and the rather blunt truth bomb dropped by new coach JJ Redick. Remember the fanfare? LeBron's heir apparent, Bronny James, scooped up by the Lakers as the 55th pick in the 24 draft. History in the making, they said, a father-son duo under the purple and gold. The dream was realized. Father and son, clad in Laker gold, finally shared the hardwood. October 6th, 2024. The air crackled with anticipation. 1,000 camera flashes sought to capture the monumental first. The crowd roared. History etched as LeBron and Bronny James shared the court. A father-son NBA first. October 22nd, 2024, marked the official debut, a regular season clash against the Timberwolves. However, the cold, hard data told a less romantic tale. Bronny's numbers reflected the stark transition facing any second-round draftee navigating the NBA's unforgiving landscape. Bronny's inaugural NBA chapter, the 24-25 season, saw him suit up 27 times for the Lakers, his stat line a whisper rather than a shout. Just a sliver of court time, around 6.7 minutes, yielded a mere 2.3 points, a handful of rebounds, 0.7, and barely an assist per game, 0.8. His first NBA basket, a poetic touch, came against the Cleveland Cavaliers, the very team that launched his father's epic. Yet, down in the G League, a different narrative unfolded, hinting at the possibilities simmering beneath the surface of Bronny's game. Down in the South Bay, with the Lakers farm team, Bronny started to show flashes. Early on, he managed around 13 points a game over 7 appearances, promising, sure. But by the following April, word was he'd truly leveled up. 11 games saw him racking up almost 22 points, grabbing 5 boards, and dishing out 5 assists. Even his 3-ball was finding the net over a third of the time. A definite upward trajectory. Brunflescher moments. Glimmers against the shadows. That free throw line flirted with 80%. A shade over a steal and a half per game. Those defensive instincts, the ones the scouts whispered about back in Sierra Canyon, finally broke through. In that Bucks game, March 20th, 25, 17 points, 7 for 10 shooting. Suddenly, the internet buzzed, a highlight reel blooming from the wasteland of expectation. Suddenly, the doubters, the ones who'd already pinned his obituary, were forced to tap the brakes, just a little. The digital floodgates opened, a torrent of pronouncements declaring Bronny unworthy of the association's hallowed floors. Fast forward to the 2025-26 campaign, and the hard numbers paint a stark picture. Bronny's impact remains whispers, not shouts. A mere 1.5 points, a fleeting 0.4 rebounds, and a sliver of 1.1 assists, all delivered with a 32.5% field goal conversion rate across 24 appearances as of late January 26. 35 points, a season's yield, a ripple in the Lakers' tide. Bronny's NBA court time has been fleeting, often amounting to little more than stat sheet ghosting. Down in the G League, however, a different story unfolds. Nearly 10 points a game in roughly half an hour of play across half a dozen contests. Enter JJ Redick, newly minted Lakers head coach as of June 24. JJ Redick, fresh from the broadcasting booth and NBA hardwood where he was once a deadly marksman, now stood on the sidelines. Never before a professional coach, he arrived armed with data-driven insights, a reputation for rigorous player improvement strategies, and a demand for accountability that extended from the superstar to the end of the bench. Barely settled in, Redick pinpointed Bronny James's conditioning as the key bottleneck, preventing him from truly contributing at the NBA level. It was a blunt, unflinching assessment, delivered with Redick's signature candor. For Bronny, the pivotal hurdle is clear: elite conditioning. That's the price of admission to the next level. Redick envisions a path mirroring those tenacious, undersized guards who battle their way into solid NBA careers. Think McConnell or Mitchell. Guys who weaponize hustle, compensating for size with sheer grit and maximum effort on every single play. Come March of 25, Redick, wading through the swamp of Bronny mania, finally spoke. His words, as the new coach, landed with a thud. He'd seen the kid absorb all the crap. Redick still bet on Bronny becoming a real NBA player. But a turning point came that January, stung by a brutal loss to Philly. Bronny's extended run proved a trial by fire, yielding a stat line that invited harsh judgment. A goose egg in points, a trio of rebounds, and an equal number of turnovers marred his 15 minutes. Back-to-back games exposed conditioning deficiencies. Redick, acknowledging the misstep, conceded, "Perhaps I threw him to the wolves a bit early." Bronny's NBA minutes were rough, yet whispers from the G League speak of brilliance. Hope flickers. Then BEM. Headlines explode, transcending hoops, landing everywhere. Redick, unfiltered, speaks truth. Redick, ever the pragmatist, confronted Bronny's rookie stumbles head-on. What some saw as coaching blunders, Redick recast as crucial lessons etched in real time. He wasn't about to discard the kid. There was no rift, just development. Take November 25. Cameras caught Redick barking at Bronny during a fleeting on-court cameo, urging him to just shoot the damn ball. A trial by fire, not a funeral pyre. The internet naturally lit up after that courtside eruption. Armchair analysts debated. Was it Redick's frustration boiling over at a rookie struggling to find his footing? Or simply tough love, the kind that forges champions in the crucible of elite hoops? Bronny, for his part, shrugged off the hullabaloo in post-game chats. He admitted the mid-game critiques were a new experience, but one he valued, seeing them as a fast track to NBA readiness. He's been remarkably open with reporters who actually listen, cutting through the noise to understand his real journey. Come March 2025, Bronny, in a chat with The Athletic, chipped away at the narrative. Progress, he suggested, was a slow burn fueled by sheer repetition, a recalibration of his mental game. He spoke of a Sisyphean struggle against the ever-present tide of negativity, admitting he turned its venom into octane. Film sessions became his classroom, the gym his laboratory, guided by Rob Pelinka's roadmap for long-term development. The ghost of nepotism, however, continued to haunt him, a specter predating even the 24 draft. The ink hadn't dried on Bronny's Lakers contract before the murmur started. Was it hoops or hype? Nepotism, plain and simple, cried some, another perk to keep King James content. A wasted roster spot, they grumbled, a dream denied to someone who'd actually earned it. WOJ, ever the historian, tried to dial it back with precedent, but honestly, save it. Forget the nepotism whispers. This league practically runs on family ties, from owners' boxes to the coach's bench, even in the front office. Redick's not giving up on Bronny. The facts suggest they're building something. Think of those hypothetical late 2025 practice reports, a 0.5 mentality coming into focus. That shows progress. Bronny's progress, a flickering flame in the NBA furnace, owes a debt to those grueling G League minutes, a boot camp for basketball brains. You can't dissect his game in a vacuum. The boy nearly lost everything in July 23, heart seizing mid-practice. The diagnosis, a congenital heart defect, a cruel twist of fate demanding surgery. That shadow hangs long over his truncated USC debut, a constant reminder of battles fought and won just to get back on the court. Bronny's NBA stat line, roughly 5 points, 3 boards, and a couple of assists across 25 appearances, doesn't tell the whole story. He jumped into the draft process, still battling back, body and mind, from something that could have taken everything. That foundational truth, often lost in the noise. Rewind to Sierra Canyon, though, and you saw real promise. Senior year, 22/23, Bronny was putting up 14, grabbing 5, and a half rebounds, dishing out 2.4 assists, and snatching almost 2 steals a night over 34 games. Bronny James, a McDonald's All-American alum from 23, flash promise, dropping 15 points with a quintet of trays in that showcase. He also chipped in 11 points and 4 boards at the Nike Hoop Summit against some international cats. Bottom line, the kid's got upside beyond the LeBron son narrative. All those clickbait YouTube titles screaming about Redick dissing Bronny? Hogwash. It's just honest coaching getting twisted for views. Redick's professional assessment spun into some kind of personal vendetta. The echo chamber amplifies, with figures like Coach Nick adding fuel to the fire, proclaiming Bronny unfit for the league. This fuels the drama mill. However, these pronouncements aren't echoing from Redick, nor the Lakers' war room. The narrative, hyped to a fever pitch, seems far grander than the reality suggests. Peeling back the layers, we find a familiar scene. A rookie coach navigating the delicate dance of player development within a franchise facing far weightier matters than the growth curve of a second-round draft pick. In 2025, the Lakers experienced a quake bigger than any buzzer beater, a tectonic shift in ownership. The Buss family, long synonymous with Laker gold, ceded majority control to Mark Walter, the billionaire brain behind TWG, global and part owner of the Dodgers. Walter's $10 billion power play wasn't just a record. It redefined the price of a sports dynasty. The NBA rubber-stamped the deal after months of scrutiny, ushering in a new era for the purple and gold. The reign of the Buss family over the Lakers, a dynasty etched in hardwood history, officially closed with a seismic power shift. Mark Walter, already a figure in the Lakers landscape since 2021 with a 27% slice, now commands the lion's share, a staggering 78 to 80%. Joining him is Todd Boehly, the Premier League's Chelsea FC owner, adding his own piece to the pie. Together, these two titans now steer the ship, controlling roughly 85% of the franchise. The Buss siblings, however, didn't walk away empty-handed, each pocketing close to $500 million after taxes from the colossal transaction. The Buss family's empire, built on Hoop's glory, still casts a long shadow, even with a significant chunk of the Lakers now in other hands. They cling to a sliver, maybe 15 to 17%, enough to keep Jeanie Buss perched on the throne for half a decade, pulling the operational strings while Mark Walter now controls the lion's share of the coffers, a power-sharing agreement unlike anything the NBA has ever seen. The friction that led to this monumental shift, a slow burn of internal battles, years in the making. The architect of Showtime, Dr. Jeanie Buss, faded from the court in February 2013. His legacy, a 66% controlling interest in the Lakers' empire, flowed into a family trust, a meticulously crafted vessel for his 6 heirs. Johnny, Jim, Jeanie, Yanni, Joey, and Jesse each inherited an equal piece, an 11% slice of the Laker pie their father had so brilliantly baked. This trust, while a novel blueprint, ultimately sowed seeds of discord within the Buss dynasty. Jeanie Buss, ever the strategist, built a dynasty, but with a twist. His inheritance plan, a sort of financial last man standing, meant Buss family shares, instead of trickling down to the next generation, would consolidate among the surviving siblings upon a death. The idea: dodge estate taxes and lock in familial control of the Lakers for the long haul. Irony, however, had other plans. Buss's death triggered a sibling scrum almost instantly. Jim and Johnny, smelling opportunity, flirted with the idea of selling, while Jeanie, fiercely protective, dug in her heels, refusing to relinquish her father's legacy. Jeanie Buss, fiercely protective of her father's legacy, stood as the bulwark against a hostile takeover. In 2017, a shadow play unfolded as her brothers, Jim and Johnny, plotted a boardroom coup. Their aim: to strip Jeanie of her power, installing a puppet regime through a strategically reshaped board. The scent of money hung heavy in the air, promises of monthly stipends, a hefty payout, hinting at personal gain disguised as corporate strategy. Jeanie, however, met their ambition with the full force of the law. Jeanie Buss, feeling betrayed and wielding the sharp blade of legal action, sued her brothers, claiming they violated their sacred trust. A temporary restraining order was her first victory, followed by a court ruling that cemented her position as the Lakers' controlling owner, effectively ousting Jim from his co-trustee role. Though decisive, the win shattered the family, the cracks running too deep to ever mend. Years later, in 2019, during a volatile phone call with her younger brother Jesse, Jeanie unleashed a devastating family secret, telling him he should have never been born. A wound opened by long-held resentments stemming from Jeanie Buss's later children from another relationship, whispering through the halls of the Lakers dynasty. November 2025 arrived, a month of cold corporate wins at the Lakers. With Mark Walter now holding the reins, Jeanie Buss, feeling LeBron was an anchor, orchestrated a ruthless sweep. Joey, his algorithm silenced, was out. Jesse's assistant GM badge was confiscated. Even the old guard, Jim and Johnny, were shown the door. Jeanie, edging towards retirement's embrace, was unceremoniously shoved out. She later confessed to the press, the sting of betrayal palpable, feeling disposable, like refuse discarded after use. Let's turn our gaze to LeBron and whispers of a fraying connection with the Lakers' top brass. The scoreboard might sing a happy tune, but behind the scenes, a discordant note rings out. A deep dive by ESPN's Baxter Holmes, dated January 21st, 2026, painted a picture of Jeanie Buss's growing disillusionment with the King in the years after their 2020 triumph. The story goes that she came to see him as a figure whose ego cast too long a shadow over the Lakers' inner workings. Word on the street is Jeanie never quite bought into the LeBron's Lakers savior narrative back when he arrived in 18. It wasn't just the King coming to rescue the damsel. She felt the organization deserved some props for the courtship. Whispers even suggest she chafed at what she perceived as LeBron's colossal ego and Clutch Sports' heavy hand within the Lakers' inner workings. And let's not forget the Westbrook debacle. That 21 trade, the one that sent a king's ransom of draft picks to Houston? Yeah, that was largely LeBron's call, a desperate bid to build a championship fortress around him. It definitely put a strain on things. The LeBron Lakers gamble imploded, leaving the team sputtering to a dismal 33-49 record and playoff-less abyss. Whispers suggest Jeanie Buss chafed under what she saw as LeBron dodging responsibility for the roster's shortcomings. By 2022, the discontent brewed to the point where she reportedly considered the unthinkable, letting LeBron's contract lapse or, worse, shipping him to the Clippers, a monumental slap in the face. Further, the narrative suggests she resented the messianic aura surrounding James's 2018 arrival, feeling he was being credited with saving a sinking ship. Once the Baxter report saw daylight, Jeanie Buss fired back at The Athletic, insisting that dragging LeBron into her family's infighting, especially given his contributions to the Lakers' legacy, was just not true and completely unfair. The Bronny James chapter only thickened the Plot. When the Lakers gambled on Bronny with the 55th pick, Buss, behind closed doors, expected a thank you note of epic proportions, a tangible sign of LeBron's gratitude for such a monumental gesture of faith. But the gratitude she perceived fell short, leading her to interpret the draft choice as an olive branch wasted. Word had it LeBron took the slight in stride. Jeanie, scrambling after the ESPN report detonated, issued a statement to The Athletic. Damage control, pure and simple. Considering all LeBron's accomplished for the Lakers, dragging him into our family squabbles and suggesting his contributions weren't valued is simply untrue and unfair. But the whispers persisted. Post-Westbrook debacle, sources claimed Jeanie privately pondered denying James an extension, even flirting with the idea of shipping him across town to the Clippers. Before LeBron locked in that no-trade leash with the Lakers in July 24, courtesy of his 2-year, $104 million deal, there was the Bronny situation. When the Lakers snagged Bronny with that 55th pick, word leaked that Jeanie Buss, behind closed doors, felt LeBron should be bowing down in gratitude. Instead, sources whispered to ESPN, she sensed entitlement, not appreciation. Post-game, LeBron, ever the master of deflection, addressed the rumors with a shrug and an "I'm above all this air. I'm 41 and I'm watching golf every day," he said, seemingly unfazed by the ownership turmoil. Rich Paul waved a dismissive hand. An article? Opinions? Meaningless noise. Those who truly know me, those within my circle, they understand my values, my motivations. Jeanie? My conversations with her are private, strategic. What outsiders think? Irrelevant. Amidst the swirling rumors, rookie head coach J.J. Redick waded into the fray, publicly backing his veteran star. Addressing the press, Redick insisted on LeBron's valued presence within the Lakers, praising his coachability. The declaration served as a united front, projecting harmony between the newly appointed coach and the seasoned legend amidst the franchise's shifting landscape. The Lakers' post-Buss family are morphing. Mark Walters' Dodgers playbook is the new scripture. He's importing his own disciples, Dodgers brass infiltrating the basketball operation. Farhan Zaidi, now a special counsel, whispers Walters' desires. Andrew Friedman, analytics guru, advises Pelinka on roster alchemy. The new regime's vision? Crystal clear. What this means for LeBron, Bronny, and the old guard remains to be seen. Walters' playbook for the Lakers? Think 2012 Dodgers, amped up. Dump the gut feelings, embrace the algorithms. Hunt down top-tier talent, no holds barred. Build a dynasty, not a flash in the pan. The Dodgers trophy case is proof enough. 5 World Series dances, 3 rings since Walter took the helm. And the centerpiece of this Lakers reboot? The February 2025 Thunderclap. Luka Doncic, plucked from Dallas in a 3-way heist involving Utah. The price? Anthony Davis shipped to the Mavericks, plus a sweetener to grease the wheels. With the Buss era fading in the rearview, Luka Doncic, the Slovenian maestro, inked a colossal 3-year deal worth $161 million, effectively planting his flag as the Lakers' new alpha. Walter's ambitions, however, soar beyond just landing Doncic. Whispers from inside the organization speak of a larger vision. A Lakers super team anchored by Doncic and bolstered by titans like Denver's Nikola Jokic or Milwaukee's Giannis Antetokounmpo. The front office is reportedly burning the midnight oil, scouring the league for defensive stalwarts, elite wing defenders, and imposing rim protectors to seamlessly mesh with Doncic's unparalleled offensive wizardry. And so, the twilight years for the king. LeBron, now a seasoned warrior at 41, entering his 23rd NBA campaign, finds himself navigating a drastically altered kingdom. His current pact, a 2-year agreement worth a king's ransom of $101 million, sees him currently sitting on a $52.6 million player option for the 25-26 season. Come summer 26, he'll be free to roam the league once more, an unrestricted free agent. As of now, no further crown has been offered by the new regime. So LeBron's at a crossroads, really down to 3 paths. Trades off the table, so forget that noise. Option 1. He stays a Laker, but at a discount, gotta swallow that pill. LeBron's dance card holds 3 possibilities. A change of scenery, sparking summer-long speculation, or hanging up the sneakers altogether. Windhorst, in his usual sharp fashion on ESPN, painted this picture. He pegged the odds of a Lakers return at a significantly discounted price, around 33%. Windhorst argued that the current Lakers squad isn't a title contender now, but under Walter's evolving strategy, a championship window could crack open within a couple of seasons. LeBron taking a hometown discount to stay with the Lakers? Forget about it. It's not about his skills fading, though, let's be clear. It's about the financial landscape shifting with the Luka Doncic era dawning. This isn't rocket science, it's Econ 101. Any armchair GM can see the writing on the wall. So yeah, I'd say there's a pretty good chance he's exploring other pastures. The tea leaves suggest a mere sliver of a chance, maybe 33%, that LeBron swallows his pride and a hefty chunk of change to stay with the Lakers, becoming a supporting player to Luka Doncic. Stephen A., however, keeps drumming a different tune. He reckons LeBron boxed himself in by sticking around in LA this year, missing a golden opportunity to return to Cleveland. Personally, if rings are the obsession, I'd be on the first flight back to Ohio. Look, I'm no cheerleader for folks ditching the sunshine of LA or the South Beach vibe for Cleveland. That's just not my style. But pure basketball-wise, a thought nags. Picture LeBron, still moving like LeBron, with a Donovan Mitchell by his side, back in a Cavs jersey for his swan song. Suddenly, the East runs through Cleveland. It's not just me either. The whispers are everywhere, louder now. Even a Lakers legend, Dwight Howard himself, is publicly stumping for the king to finish his reign where it all started, back home in Ohio. Word on the street, according to Shams Charania, is the Lakers are flipping the script, moving past the LeBron show, and setting the stage for a Luka Doncic dynasty. So what does this seismic shift mean for young Bronny? His path hinges on grinding it out in the G League and seizing any NBA chances. Redick's plan is clear: build Bronny's body and sharpen his focus, pinpointing exactly what he can bring to the big leagues. If he keeps showing progress on this road, a real spot in the rotation could be his in seasons to come. The supposed friction between LeBron and Lakers management could ripple through roster choices, though Redick's apparent harmony with the king hints at a lull in the storm, at least for LeBron and Bronny. Nick Wright, never one to mince words, went viral dissecting the LeBron/Lakers saga. LeBron, remember, saw LA as a ship without a rudder before he arrived. And savior? Well, a championship within 2 years pretty much cements that label. Let's not forget, pre-LeBron, the Lakers were mired in a half-decade of basketball purgatory. The Lakers, a team adrift, owe their very resurgence to LeBron's decision to grace Los Angeles, not to any slick sales pitch from the front office. This whole LeBron affair reveals the constant tug-of-war between a superstar's influence and what the owners actually want. Sure, LeBron brought a title in 2020, a championship forged in the crucible of a pandemic. He kept the Lakers relevant just by showing up. But the team's choppy performance since, tangled up in family squabbles, money woes, and bad team building, has definitely frayed the bond between the king and the people who own the chessboard he plays on. Windhorst, maybe better than anyone, nailed the uneasy dance going on. Regarding LeBron, veterans across his 2-decade reign, from Cleveland to Miami, whisper tales of occasional migraines. Yet, those throbbing temples yielded tenfold returns. The Lakers, adrift in a basketball wasteland, owed their revival to the king. Sure, he ruffled feathers, tested patience, and pushed buttons, but ask anyone, they'd endure it all again in a heartbeat. A similar sentiment echoes in Ohio and South Beach. And now, with Walter's arrival, the Buss family's golden reign over the Lakers concludes. Jeanie still holds the reins for 5 years, a condition of the deal. The Lakers, flush with Walter's cash and championship pedigree, seem primed for a rebirth. Yet, LeBron's departure, be a handshake or a clash of wills, will be the first test of this new regime's finesse. As for the Redick Bronny drama, the sensational headlines scream betrayal, but the truth whispers of patience. Redick's not abandoning Bronny. The project continues. Forget the Bronny sideshow. The Lakers' drama runs deeper, a ticking clock on LeBron's dominance, and a make-or-break potential of the Doncic regime to reignite championship glory. This isn't some coaching mutiny over a rookie flailing in the spotlight. This is about a franchise undergoing seismic shifts, a king confronting his twilight, and a kid battling for his own identity under a microscope of hype he didn't create. But hold on, Rich Paul has entered the chat, vehemently dismissing this whole narrative as utter fabrication on his podcast. Paul's dismissal dripped with disdain. Another day, another headline, he likely scoffed. Truth? Irrelevant noise. Who cares? Rich Paul's denial? Window dressing. Both Team LeBron and the Lakers want this drama buried and the focus back on jump shots. Word is, LeBron, Rich Paul, and Jeanie Buss are set for a powwow, a clearing the air session after all the dirty laundry got aired. Could be a real peace treaty, could be spin. Either way, everyone knows the optics have to improve. The Lakers are scripting their next act, right here, right now. Bronny either carves out his NBA niche or he doesn't. His fate hinges on court-driven progress, not some fabricated feud with Redick, who's consistently voiced belief in the kid's upside. Despite the media's spin about Redick throwing shade, the reality is far simpler. A rookie coach offering blunt, yet necessary, feedback to a second-round draft pick. That's not chaos, it's just how the game is played. The true turbulence lies not with young Bronny, but in the fractured Buss family, the severed ties between LeBron and Jeanie, and the instability inherent in a $10 billion power shift. Bronny's a bit player in this epic, not the headliner. LeBron's story will echo for ages. Bronny's? Still blank pages. And Redick, despite the media frenzy, seems genuinely invested in helping him fill them. So, curtain close on this particular act. If this peek behind the curtain intrigued you, then the rabbit hole deepens with a click on the prompts shimmering just over there. Dive in, the story continues.